Madam Speaker, go
Thank
ahead.
you. I did want to clarify for the committee the change in the hours. So right now, only one Saturday of early voting is required. The law is silent as to the other 3 days, but one day is required. We are increasing that by 100%, so that now two Saturdays will be required. And one might think that would require a fiscal note, but it doesn't, because that cost is borne. Running elections is borne by counties and cities for municipal elections. But I think, at least from my perspective, to Representative Smyre's point, uniformity within reason. I mean, it's very difficult to have 100% uniformity when we have 4 counties of almost 1 million people each, and 4 counties with fewer than 4,000 people who live in those counties. So they have very different circumstances, but we've increased the required weekend voting by 100%. Instead of being silent on the other 2 weekend days, which it was in current law, we are expressly suggesting to counties that they may choose to do Sundays, and they may choose the hours that they want for that. In my research, I noted that 100, before we required the second Saturday, the initial, well, actually, we allowed to, in the initial bill that just mandated the one Saturday, 116 counties had fewer voting hours than this bill would have required. Now that we've expanded it, which I support, allowing all 4 days of weekend and mandating 2, I haven't looked, but the number will be much, much higher. I did want to mention, although I strongly support allowing counties to offer Sunday voting, which was allowed in my county, I do want to point out that only 65,000 Georgians chose to vote on Sunday in the November election out of, I don't know, 2.9 million people who voted early. Now, you might say, well, that's because fewer counties, but those were the bigger counties. And of those 16 counties that offered Sunday voting, it was the least popular day in those 16 counties. I would also, and again, I support Sunday voting, and I'm very happy with this change, but I would like to correct something else that has been suggested. I hope all churches, I certainly support churches undergoing souls to the polls, encouraging civic engagement and civic action. But in those 16 counties, I will point out that it was really quite balanced among Black voters, white voters, and other races. But among Black voters in those 16 counties only, if you look at the race of the voters that voted early voting on Sunday, they expressly voted at a lower percentage on Sunday than they did the other 6 days of the week. So it would be inaccurate to say that it is a preferred day, at least to date. I don't know what will happen in future elections. It is not the preferred day of the week for African-American voters. In fact, it is a less popular day to African-American voters to vote than it is among white voters in those 16 counties. That's the only history that we have, in which a lot of people voted at a high level this last election. But I support these changes, and I want to thank the committee, and I hope you will as well.
Representative Burton.